we're gonna start our chat. Anyone who's not following already, you will be after this. So let's go see him.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my friend, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you, brother?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Alrighty.
I had to, of course, crack open a beer to join you.
Oh yes, cheers to you, brother.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers to
you.
the camera. There you go.
Nice. How you been, bro?
Hey.
What's new?
Good. Good. Not much. Not
I
much.
love that
Just the
setup
usual,
you've
you
got
know?
going, eh? That setup is
Thank
fucking
you.
sick.
Thank you.
It's just
I actually spent a bit of time today, like trying to figure out the camera again.
yeah.
You know, I get pretty uptight about it.
Yeah,
I
100%.
spend a lot of time changing everything on my stream.
I know that, and it shows because, like, I mean, everything in your streams color coordinated, like it's all
is,
purple.
It is. If it's not purple, get it out.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, like even the other night when I came into your chat, when I brought people over, I was like, I have to get the Charmander outfit out because I had so many points saved. I'm like, oh my god, I need to use it. Just to, like, because everyone that came in, like, I don't know how many people we brought. But
I need to add something else. Like, I love it, but it's like the only thing that I've kind of got like for a high amount, other than like obviously like VIP or whatever.
yeah,
So I need to get something else on the cards, but yeah.
100%. Michaela has a question for you apparently. So a question from a guest is one of our channel redeems tonight. So straight off the bat, we've got a question from a guest. I hope it's a good one. It's probably about your penis, but let's see how we go. Michaela, what's your question there, Michaela? You can post it in the chat and we'll read it up. It's probably a naughty question.
Yes, Star Wars, you can.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I'm sure it's a long-winded one then if she's taking this long, but that's all good. Jesus. All right. We'll just turn our watches on, stare at the clock, Should we chuck up an ad or yeah, chuck up a song,
I have plenty of things to advertise, but this isn't my stream. So.
Yeah. 100%. I get it. If you could collaborate with any music producer or artist, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a tough question too, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what, before you answer that question, some of the chat won't know what you do with music and stuff. So maybe give them a brief background on that a little bit, and then you can answer that question so it makes sense.
Okay. So I feel like I should answer the question first.
Okay, you can do that. That's fine.
Because otherwise I'll forget that the question even exists.
No, I got it. It's all good. Go on.
That is a really tough question. And to be honest, my honest answer, like most people probably wouldn't even know who it is. So, but there's a music producer called Virtual Riot. Some of you guys might have heard him if you're into like heavier kind of bass music, I guess. Purely because he is like, in terms of, I guess, production quality, like the best producer I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, it might be a bit like biased because I'm a fan of him, but I'd say, like, to me, I reckon he is the best producer in the world in terms of like
Really?
how good at it he actually is. Not just, his music, but just his technicality and everything. Like, he's so insane, and he would be absolutely nuts to work with, especially since the music I make I'd consider like somewhat similar. So it's kind of already like the right style, I guess.
Yeah, Bob's a fan, clearly.
Yeah, that's right. Is one of the best for sure. But that would probably be my answer. But look, there's a ton of artists that I would love to work with.
Yeah, all right.
But anyway, yeah, the music. Actually, it's a good time to talk about music. I don't know. I think I've told you already, but yeah, I have an EP actually coming out tomorrow. So I'll talk about the music, but I'm getting pretty excited for that.
Hey,
so
it's perfect timing for an interview then.
Yeah. So well, basic background on music. I started. I mean, I've always been interested in music, but I started kind of dabbling with music production back when I was about. I think I was like 11. Like, I was honestly still a kid, basically. I had like a cheap $200 netbook that I don't know how it was able to do anything, like but I somehow managed to make some little tunes on that, and And yeah, that's kind of how my interest started. I think I'd seen some like people doing it on YouTube or something like that, like something that was like, oh, okay, like this is how it's done, like that kind of stuff. And then I just got really interested. So I ended up downloading the software. At that age, I couldn't afford much, so let's just say I acquired the software. And and yeah, so I
just like
started
we
messing
all
around.
acquired movies in the 90s,
Yeah, exactly. You guys do that. You guys know that. But yeah, so I was messing around. I started doing just like little original pieces. Look, they were pretty crap, but I was obviously just messing around at the time, getting my way around like the software and everything. And then I started sort of like delving into remixes as well because not just for the sake of remixing other tracks, but they had a lot of competitions. So I started getting involved in a lot of competitions. Um, Remixing songs, like a lot of songs, and eventually I was getting a lot better, and I actually started to win a couple. So got a
Nice.
few remix comp wins under my belt, which is good. Some a lot bigger than others, and the latest remix comp win, which is I think 2018, so it's still a few years back, but um, I don't really enter them anymore. But the latest one is the one that actually got me onto. Well, I'm not really on the label, but the one that's got me the releases on the label that I've had the last couple releases on. So, um, yeah, it's all been a big build up. In terms of the actual music I produce, it's all just kind of electronic, EDM,
Yeah.
dubstep, electro kind of stuff. But
I still love that kind of music
those
though.
yeah, I mean, those who've seen me produce on stream have also seen that I produce other stuff like
Yeah.
lo-fi, um, and just anything really. I mean, I'm interested in all kind of music, so
Yeah. Yeah, I
whatever
understand
I
that.
think I can probably make, I will try.
Yeah, 100%. Look,
um,
when it
and
comes to
sometimes it comes
music,
out really cool. So yeah,
variety is good. Like variety is good. I mean,
definitely.
especially I mean, for me, it's music is what makes the world go around a little bit. Like
Yeah,
it's one of those things like everybody can understand how music feels. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, 100%.
it makes a big difference to
Um,
people.
I'm just gonna move that there because that'll be a lot easier. All right. Um, I think for me, like I've always focused on making the same kind of genres, but
Yeah.
like I always try to make other things not just because I want to experiment, but also because when I start to make other genres, it actually kind of gives me ideas when I come back to making my main genres. So it's it all kind of goes hand in hand, but also to show people that I'm not just a one trick pony when it comes to music. Like I
No,
can make other things.
I totally get that, bro.
Um, but yeah, look, it's like gaming, right? Like it's fun for me, but it's also me challenging myself to see how much better I can get. And music is for me, it's half creativity and half like a technical side to it too.
Mm.
And I've never been I've never been like classically trained. I don't play piano, although I've kind of taught myself here and there how to sort of play. But I used to play drums for like 6 years, so um completely different instrument, but I started to learn more about how to actually play a piece, like all the time signatures and everything like that, which again all came into helping with producing my own music. um like I don't record my own drums or anything for my tracks because it's electronic music. It doesn't
Yeah.
really have
You don't really
acoustic
need
drums in
to.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And also my drum kit is probably not good enough for that, but
yeah.
I do still have it. I never use it, but yeah. But yeah, that's a basic background on the music, and
Yeah.
I've found myself now to be spending a lot more time on tracks than I used to. I used to be like, all right, if I'm not finishing this in a day, then that's it.
Can't be bothered.
It's not
Yeah.
getting put up. But that's not really the attitude you can go in if you actually want to be making like professional kind of tracks. So
Yeah, I mean,
um
you've got to be a perfectionist, but at the same time,
yeah.
you've got to make stuff you want to listen to yourself too.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Like,
me, I am very picky about what I make. That's not just music, that's anything really. So
yeah,
I will like if I think I can make better, or I think I've got something already that's like better than the track I'm working on or on all the track, like it's just gonna sit there.
yeah,
And like I've shown I've shown multiple times whenever I do music streams and stuff. like the folder I have of music,
Just
and
like,
there is like thousands and thousands of projects in that, and I've probably released like, I don't know, less than 100 songs, including like 40, 50 remixes or something. So
yeah,
you know,
wow.
it's just one of those
Perfectionist
things, and
to
it's
the
not
end.
just me, you know, like you'll find most producers are the same. But yeah, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to anything design as well, you know, like
Yeah,
that's something else I'll get into a little bit. But um yeah, that's just me, you know. If I don't think that it's the best work I can do, I won't put it out.
no, I understand that too, because like, I mean, I can relate to that a little bit because I'm a bit of a perfectionist myself.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to a lot of things, like, you know, whether you're the kind of person, and this is why I can relate to you, that drops 19 kills and is disappointed that didn't get a 20 bomb. Like,
Yeah, that
but
is true. That
also
is true. That is true.
you're also the kind of person that produces things you like to listen to, and if you like to listen to it,
Yeah.
you'll pick it and pick it and pick it to pieces until you have it perfect. And
I
like,
will
I'm the same
yeah.
with my work as well. Like when it comes
Yeah.
to cars, like I have to be like that, because otherwise, you know, you can do anything easy. You can do anything the way it's supposed to be done. But if you can, there is
Exactly.
ways you can do it better, always.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
you want to discover that because that's the kind of person you are. And I totally get
And
that.
that kind of leads into the design stuff as well. So a few people in the community I've done bits and pieces for, like design wise, but I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, if I can do like, you know, Twitch overlays, stuff like that.
Like
And
socials designs or
yeah, like things like that. And the thing is, like, I would, but here's the thing, like, I don't really have the time or like how do I put it? How do I put it? I do have the time, but I don't have the time to be making all that stuff for free. And as much as I'd love to help people, a lot of people want something cheap, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I say, like, look, I would love to be able to do that for $10, that for $20, but here's where the perfectionist part comes in.
25
I
hours
can't
later,
make
it's not
I can't
$10.
make $10 of work and send that to someone because I will think it's shit, you know? Like
Yeah,
I have to spend hours and hours on it, and like
I get that. Yeah,
and you know, like the people that have paid me for it have paid a lot. Like, and
yeah,
you know, and it's like I didn't expect them to do that, but at the same time, like I'm thinking I've seen like Fiverr and websites like that, and for $20 you get somebody else's overlay in green. You know, it's like
yeah.
and for like $200 even, you don't even get like the originality of the stuff that I try to make for people. So
Mm.
that's the thing. Like people who ask me for designs or stuff like that, they want to pay like, I don't know, 20, 30, $40, right? And as much as I'd love to do that to people, I can't. Like
No, I
it's just
understand
yeah,
that, man.
it's um
Totally.
but that's where the perfectionist side comes in again, you know, like I will spend hours, I will even send people stuff and then I'll look at it and kind of go, you know what, maybe I should have done that. And I'll go above and beyond, even if they think it's fine.
Mm.
Um and that's just kind of like what I
Well,
do. But
it's the same thing as if like this is how I relate to it, because I'm trying to relate to what you're saying. Whenever I fix someone's car, it takes 2 hours to fix an Audi. Like it takes 2 hours to
yeah.
service an Audi, right? I get paid for 2 hours. But if it takes me 2.5 hours, I'm still getting paid for 2 hours. But if I need to take the extra half hour to finish the job properly, I do. And like,
yeah.
because, and you know what, look, places like dealerships and stuff don't understand that because they're trying to make money. And they don't give a fuck about the quality of work. But for me,
That's true.
the quality over quantity is the reason it's important to get that right, because that customer's coming back because of the effort that I put in. That extra half hour might make me 2 hours again in a year's time for another service. So you got to think of it that way. And
people appreciate that.
exactly.
Quality,
And
you know, like
if you are going to make something for $10, but if it's a $30 thing, it might be twice as good, and they'll never have to come back for another thing, or they'll recommend you to 10 of their friends. Of course, you're going to do that, right? You know what I mean? And sometimes you will sacrifice to do the $10 thing at a $30 fucking quality,
that's the thing.
just to get it out there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I would never, even if someone was only paying $10, I still wouldn't
Still
send
produce
them
the
$10
$30
I would
quality.
Still, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's how I understand what you mean, because I'm the same in that regard as well. Bob's got a question. What platform can we go to listen to your music?
Basically anything really, but I would probably suggest Spotify if you use it. Otherwise SoundCloud. I don't know if maybe I can send you links in Discord if you want. And you can just post
So
them
if we've got if we look up your name in Discord, in Spotify, will we find it?
Not my stream name because it's actually different. So, wait, actually, can I just post it in your chat? Is that will it work?
Give it to Bob and he'll put it up. So the mods can post links.
Actually, can I send it to you?
No, you can send it to me. Yeah,
I've already got you up in Discord, so it'll be easier.
Easy.
Let me just open Spotify.
Because then what we'll do is
I
we'll
do use
post
SoundCloud, but I know a lot of people don't really use SoundCloud anymore.
Yeah, no,
so.
Spotify is sort of the way of the world, I think.
Spotify. That's what I usually try to send to people. Okay, here's the link to the Spotify. Yeah, Kalia's got it. That's the name, but yeah, there's your link.
Oh yeah, I've got you.
Also, if you just want a quick link to it, like in my chat, if you just type @ music, I think it is, then you find both my SoundCloud and Spotify.
Just gonna bring this over the top real quick. That's it there. Can you see it in there?
That's the one. That's the one.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll post that link.
So that one, that's Spotify right there. If you keep tabs on that, the new EP that I'm releasing will actually be out tomorrow on that. So
perfect.
Hopefully, if everything goes to plan. But yeah.
So if the Spotify link's there, guys, if you want to have a listen, we're going to have a quick listen to your music while we're having a chat too. So I'm just going to run it in the background. If that's all right.
Do it.
So we'll just. What's your favorite? What's the one that you feel that people will
on my
resonate
Spotify,
to?
it's hard to tell because there's not that much on there right now. But Emerge is a pretty cool track. Yeah, Emerge is a pretty cool track. I don't know. I kind of like that one. It's a little bit different. It's kind of heavy, but it's slightly different to the stuff I normally make, I guess.
All right, well, we'll play it while we chat, shall we?
But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the new EP because it's definitely more the type of stuff I've been making in the last year or so. Like this stuff I'd consider old for me. I wouldn't consider it bad. I'd just say it's old.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my current sound, although it is to some people who don't really follow the genre heavily. Like it might kind of sound the same, but obviously for me, it's a lot different because I know the differences between the subgenres, I guess you could call it.
I'm telling you right now, this is the glory of the podcast platform, right? So me and you, right? We play games literally every day. We chat most days. I didn't even know you had a fucking Spotify channel, right? So
a lot of people don't,
and you know what?
It's a different name too. Because I made that name years ago when I started making music. Well, not when I started. I went through a few names as you do with things, but that's the one I just stuck with. And the word itself, a bit of backstory, literally the most random word. It was one of those things when I quite literally went in Google and was just typing random words or cool words or something like that, because it got to the point where I was
think of what you wanted.
No idea what to call myself.
Yeah.
And then the word itself means, it's if you look up the actual definition of it, it means causing or affected by anxiety or stress. And it's a weird word to have as a name and a weird explanation, but it's heavy music, right?
It makes sense.
It's heavy music, so it's bass music. So yeah.
The other thing though is if you think of band names and you think of DJ names and stuff, they're not supposed to make sense. They're not supposed to have some sort of deep, meaningful fucking feel to it. Some people just name after the chair in their living room. They don't. I've seen there's literally bands that name things after the weirdest shit. One of my favorite bands in the history of the world is Parkway Drive. Right?
Yeah.
Parkway Drive, being a heavy metal band, from Byron. The reason they're called Parkway Drive is that's because the street that's the street they all grew up on.
That's the street name, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you wouldn't think of that. Like, you think Parkway Drive, you just think it's a band.
Things,
like, you know, but
a lot of artist names, like especially in I guess like within, well, just not even EDM, but like anything. They don't mean anything. Like the word itself doesn't actually have a meaning. It's just like a cool word. Like Skrillex doesn't have a meaning. It's just a word. It sounds kind of cool, you know? Like it's
well, and look, I've got a funny story for you. You might like. So you obviously know who Flume is, right?
Yeah.
So I know him IRL, right? And we grew up in the same area, and he was in my brother's year in high school. So we went to school together and stuff. And put it this way, I used to work at a pub near where he lived, where I lived, and we used to just like have beers and chat and stuff, right? I never put two and two together that he was Flume. I used to listen to Flume all the time. And I never fucking thought about it or knew about it because he never talks about it. And so like, we were having a beer one time at the pub, just chatting, and he'd be like, "Oh, hey, bro." I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow? We might play some poker or something, right?" And he's just like, "No. I got to go to Europe." I said, "What are you going to Europe for?" And he goes, "I'm going for it was a festival of some sort. I can't remember what it was." And he's like, "I'm going for this festival." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Who's playing?" Like I still hadn't put two together. He's like, "Oh, well, there's this," and he'd always fuck with me, right? Because he never told me straight away that he was playing. So he'd be like, "Oh, this person's playing, or Beyonce's playing, and like this person," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Oh, and I'm playing." I'm like, "You're playing?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Flume," and I'm like, "I didn't even fucking know that, mate. You never told me." And like, funny. And that was hilarious to me, because he literally was just the kid that went to high school like with my brother and come over every now and again and say hello to me, and that was always. And then every now and again we'd have a beer and have a chat. It was I never ever knew that was what he did. And like,
that's pretty funny.
And I felt so weird about it because he'd always ask me and I always tell him what I did. Like he'd be like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a mechanic, like I work for this, blah, blah, blah." Thinking I was like, you know, I'm really proud of my job too. So I was like, being really proud of it. And he's just like, "I'm just a multi-million-dollar platinum artist." I'm like, "Oh, sick." And I had no fucking idea. And it's just funny the way you look at people in different lights and different contexts. And I've never changed my mind on it. He's still Harley. Like,
that's the other thing. I mean, like the people you grow up with, like it doesn't really matter. Like you know how successful they become. Like to you, they're just the same person. You know, like it's like if one of us, if one of us like blew up on Twitch, for example, like you know, say I got like, I don't know, out of nowhere, just somehow got like 2 million followers, you know, I would be like, you know, I'd instantly make like all my like day ones just like VIPs or mods. Well, they already are anyway. Like,
exactly.
So, like, but I wouldn't change that, you know, I wouldn't be like, all right, that's it. And to me, like, it's just the same people. Like, you don't really think about that side of it, really. Like, I mean, personally, I'm not famous, you know, with music or anything, but like, I don't think it matters. Like, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't forget these people or anything," but like I know I wouldn't, you know.
No. Well, the thing is about streaming, about anything to do with fame or fortune, is just the humble people, the rich people you never hear about. Do you know what I mean? But that's also a good thing. Like. Yeah. Not all publicity is good publicity in the name of most people. Like if you want, I think for anyone who wants to do anything like music or gaming or live events, YouTube, whatever it might be, you need to stay humble and remember how you got there, because otherwise you'll never hold anyone, you know, as far as it comes. When like you'll get all these new people coming through and they'll never stick around because they realize the kind of person you are and they're just like, "Nah, fuck this. I don't want to be part of this community." So build it properly to begin with, you know.
I think the other thing, you know, with Twitch specifically, I mean, I guess it also applies to music, but for me, and I know like for you and probably a lot of other people, like we didn't do it to get famous, you know.
No.
We're doing it because we enjoy it. We like having like the community that we have. Music for me, obviously I didn't have a community going into it. I never had like intended on having like a big following or anything, but it was just something I enjoyed doing, and I take it serious enough that I want to like release tracks and you know, I've never even thought about like doing a show. And I know there's some artists that are like my size, if not, you know, like a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller even, that already do shows. Like, and it's like, I could probably, but I don't really have the interest in like the big stage or anything like that. I enjoy making music. I enjoy putting it out. You know, when people do say, oh, like it's, you know, oh, this is sick or whatever, like that, obviously it feels good. Like, but at the end of the day, I do it just because I enjoy making music, and it's like one of my creative outlets.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, I consider myself a pretty creative person when it comes to most things. Like, that's what I do. I like to make shit. I like to create, you know, whether it's music design, whether it's like streaming, making stuff for the stream, stuff like that. But I just do it because I enjoy it, and I like having the people around. I like having not just the support, but I like having other people to support. I like having, you know, just the community in general, and that would never change if I got big from either one. You know, if anything, I would just support people more.
100%. No, I agree.
I would have that avenue to support them, but
and that's why this community is important, because a lot of us. So you see, I've said this to Wizard as well. Unless you were listening what I said before, a lot of us are sitting around like on Twitch. We put the hours in, we put the effort in, but we don't see the viewer rewards.
Yeah.
And the reason
I think that applies to pretty much like majority of our community, but like OCE even just whatever.
It's just and all it is, dude, is just you guys have got to expand outside your own community.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Because a lot of the time I see every single time I put tabs up, so I tab everyone every day, right? and every single time I put tabs up, I go back 2 hours later, and all the tabs
like the same
are the same people. They just all rated each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And look, that is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like when someone brings in a raid, like say, you know, someone who doesn't normally watch, they bring in a raid and then they raid to your mate or whatever. They raid to your other mate and someone else's mate. Like I understand that's a great thing. It's great because it's a good sense of community that we already have. But we need to grow outside our own communities and start fucking bringing in new ones, because that's the only way we ever go from 10 viewers to 50. You know what I mean?
Something I used to do a lot when I was like growing initially. Obviously, like, I mean, I didn't know even a lot of people in like the current community at that point either, but I was always kind of trying to find like someone new to raid, or not even just raid, but just go and like chat for a little bit, you know, like see what they're about.
Yeah.
Not just our community, but like, or not even just OCE, like other regions, people in the UK, people in America, people, well, wherever really. But obviously US is the big hitter when it comes to Twitch, because that's where most of the following is. That's where most of the streamers are.
Well, this is why
viewers come from. So.
When you see me doing a 24-hour stream, that's why the numbers are so high. Because like I'm getting an average of 25 basically every day, right? But to get the 55, which is what we get for the 24-hour streams, is the reason that happens is because everybody can come in.
The times,
So there's the time zone thing, right? I have half my viewers are Australian, the other half are American or European, and it's like, in order to bring those Americans and Europeans in, not everyone is going to sit up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning to get up to watch you. Yeah. If you're playing in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night or whatever, and every single person can come and watch, you'll notice the difference. But not everyone can stream 24 hours a fucking day. Like, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I've been
the fact that I
for a while,
did it twice
the best time
is
for
stupid.
us to stream is the worst time for us to stream. Like,
100%, dude. Like,
you know, but luckily for me, I'm kind of a night owl anyway, so like it's nothing new. It's nothing new me streaming late. Well, in terms of the time me being up, like I didn't always stream late, but I would still be up anyway. So like for me, it was like I might as well stream at that time. I mean, even recently, like you've seen, I've been doing more late ones, you know, because I just got sick of doing daytime streams. You know, everyone's busy, like everyone or asleep. And obviously, like we had the OCE people come in, but you know, a lot of the time they got stuff to do. They're doing
the middle of the day for us is probably the worst time to stream. Yeah, exactly. You got to be streaming like night to early morning. That's the stream time that you need to be doing.
Literally, like the best time for us to stream would be our night time, like literally from like 11 p.m. till like 8 a.m. That's like prime
That's
time,
perfect,
but it's
yeah.
the worst time for us to like actually
Yeah.
stream because we should be sleeping. But
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks. But look, I mean, you don't have to do it, but if you want to grow, it's gonna help. And maybe like my probably advice would be to do it like at least for a while, or at least like like a few days a week or a couple days a week, do it. And then like, who knows, maybe once you get big enough, you wouldn't have to, like you can sort of
Mix
go
and
down
match,
and
yeah.
and just make it a little bit earlier or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Can see how
I
horny
think
Bob is
I think
right
it's
now.
good for growing.
Bob's loving this.
He's loving it. He's loving it. Well, I'm glad he is.
Just a response to a couple of questions here. Thank you, Tharwaz, for the gas. We appreciate it. Brit, sorry. I know Tim Ferriss from InXS. Tim Ferriss, I used to service his car. So I service him and Beth's car, him and his wife's car. Subaru Forester GT, you wouldn't have thought it. But that's the car he drives. And then his wife drives an EOS with a convertible top. So interesting choices. But and also serviced Kirk Pengilly's car. He has an S3. So he's married to Lane Beachley. So she has an A3. So interesting. Anyway, if Razor wasn't sexy enough, now that I know he's a DJ, I'm probably going to stalk him. That I'm sure he will appreciate it. I saw that you were getting into the American Crew. I was tuned into that stream today, actually. Was it today or yesterday? That was one of Kalu's mates that you rated?
Yeah. Ken.
Ken gave us a follow today as well.
I'm actually, I'm gonna give him a little bit of Warzone coaching actually.
Yeah. Everyone's saying that Rupture Track is what everyone's enjoying.
Rupture. So I like that one, but I feel like I didn't really hear like much about that one, but I actually really like it.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you for the follow. Martin lubed her thing. That's quite a name, and I appreciate the follow. Thank you, sir. So in general, I want to just touch on a couple other things. We'll pause this up for a second. Why, when it comes to gaming, dude, like, I understand, yeah, we've touched on the perfection and all that, and you know, how much you love to play and stuff. But what is it that you love to do when it comes to game? Why do you play it so much, and what do you get out of it? Like, is it endorphins? Is it like the rush of victory? Like, what is it?
I mean, gaming's always been enjoyable for me. Like probably a lot of people on Twitch, started gaming at a pretty young age. You know, I started on, I don't know what it would have been originally, maybe like the OG Game Boy, sort of when I was growing up, and then PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I've actually never had an Xbox. I've always had I've had a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, a 4, and I got a 5. But I was
the opposite.
And I've never had an Xbox, but I've always played games growing up, and I've just always enjoyed it. And then obviously once the online side of things came out, games like Call of Duty. I know I didn't have an Xbox, but I did play a little bit of Halo, like in the school days when I was at school and stuff like that. Yeah, at school, I know.
Yeah.
And you know, just the sort of like playing with friends. Sort of, yeah, I just found it one of the most enjoyable things to do. And I met a lot of people, even back when I was younger. Most of them I don't really talk to now, but because I met them online and then they went off and did their own things and whatnot. But it's always been that like sort of connection with other people, or I guess have a similar interest, you know, like you're all on there doing the same thing. You enjoy games. Not everyone is into video games, like most people are to a certain extent. But
more casually than anything else.
Yeah, but I think it's you know, from then till now, even still, I think it's there is a competitive side of me too. So you know, that's why with games like Warzone, obviously I put the hours in. I get annoyed when I do bad. You know, like you see, I practice against bots, you know, just to warm up before I even play sometimes, because I want to do good. And it's always been the same. I've always been a massive COD fan. So like COD's definitely by far, like as a franchise, hours and hours and hours of game played above like anything else. When you add them all up, you know, because it would have been just something stupid. I think Warzone alone, I've got over like 1,000 hours, which is kind of ridiculous. But
Yeah, dude,
but
you're not the only one.
no, I'm not. But COD's always been a massive part of my, I guess, gaming. There's actually not been many other like franchises that I've put the time into that I have with COD. I think the only one I could say I probably have is Destiny, honestly.
It's in the competitive nature of FPS. Yeah, this is the thing about Warzone, and then why we play it. I feel is because of its competitive nature. Like we love the chasing victory. We love getting the kills. Like we love all the challenges that come with it, and also the movement speeds and the fucking and the type of
Just
ways
high
you
energy,
can.
like,
Yeah, 100%. It's always action all the time. Like
I used to
it's
love my like single player campaign kind of games, and then probably Call of Duty is probably single-handedly the one game that stopped me from playing those kind of games, because
yeah.
like as soon as I got that competitive rush and I started talking to people, and I was like, cool, I'm playing games with people like who are probably nowhere near me, and like
Yeah.
it's just cool. Ever since that, and like games like Destiny, I guess, kind of brought back that story a little bit, but then still had that competitive nature to it, and still had that playing with friends kind of thing. Like we'd be doing raids, starting at 7 p.m. and going, and we were still going at like 2, 3 p.m. on like the same raid.
Yeah.
Like at the start when it was difficult and stuff like that. And but even Destiny, like the PvP side of it, again, competitive. I don't know how many people played Destiny, but Trials of Osiris in the first Destiny, like pretty competitive. Probably could compare it to like Search and Destroy, like a competitive Search and Destroy. That was like another thing, I was like trying to get good. We'd get on with the same squad like every weekend or whatever when it was on. I can't remember, but same thing. It's always been competitive, even in the game like that. And
Yeah.
Call of Duty's always been a big thing. Like multiplayer, I've always been the guy that tries to drop a nuke. I've always been the guy that tries to get everything.
Well, it's an
gold.
achievement,
Always,
dude. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And obviously at that point back then, like I obviously didn't realize how much more competitive our region was than like a lot of other regions in the world.
Well, we
And
thought
I
it was
think
normal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think skill-based matchmaking has definitely made that worse. So like I think back in the day, like with the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, that didn't really exist. So like you were still playing the bad players and the casuals, and everyone was somewhat more casual back then. I mean, you still had the players that actually played comp, but I think besides that, everyone was kind of just a casual, like
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas now it's like everyone, and I mean with the uprise of Twitch too, everyone's just trying to be like the next dude, like, and
the competitive nature of all of us.
We all know that like that's pretty hard.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like on any given day, a lot of the people that we play with and a lot of people we play against could be better than us, or we could be better than them. It depends. It depends on the day. It does. Like some days we get the one over them. Some days they get the one over us. But you know what? We're all the same. We're all going for the same thing. Like
there's I think I've come to the point now where I consider myself like a good Warzone player, but I know for sure that there are at least probably 5 players in OCE that I would never be as good as. Obviously your headaches, yeah, those types of players that are just above everyone else. And when you think about how many people play the game, like for them to look that much better than all of us just shows that like what kind of level that they are on. Like it's insane.
And that's the thing too, like with him, he's trying to push the boundaries, not of his play, because he's already a good player. He's trying to push the boundaries of his self-promotion now.
He's trying to get better. He's trying to like get even better than he already is, which is scary. But like,
well, for him on Twitch, right? His gameplay speaks volumes for itself.
Exactly. He doesn't.
But his promotion side of things needs to improve, and he knows that as well, because you can see the way he's trying to change things now with the commentary and all that kind of stuff. Like he's trying to make it different.
Look, I've seen with him, like obviously when we first started watching him, he didn't have any sort of like overlays, anything like that. No. He did have a camera. I wasn't the greatest, like the mic was just headset mic, whatever, blah blah blah. And like even in this time, like he's someone that doesn't, like you said, his gameplay speaks for itself. So he doesn't necessarily need all the flashy lights and all that stuff in the background.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's still, like, you can see he's working on that. Like, you know, he's got a better mic, he's got a better camera, he's got overlays, stuff like that, some graphics, whatnot. And I think, like you said, that's what he now needs to do and keep doing.
Yeah.
Because look, to be honest, in terms of Warzone, he's our like he's our guy. Like, you know, this is OCE's opportunity to be recognized.
He's the top of the pops when it comes to all of us.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally, for me, like one of the best players in the world. Like, probably top 5 easy from watching, like, even, you know, the top players in America and stuff. Like, 100%. I think he would quite easily compete.
Well, he has. But he has competed, but he just hasn't got the recognition that he deserved. I think it's all about. Like, he's just young, dude. Like, he's a young guy. He's gonna learn it. He's gonna learn the self-promotion sort of things.
Hard to grow in. Like, that's what it is. You know, like, it's.
He needs to make that move, but the COVID's fucked him too. So, like, I'm sure he'll be making that move over to America as soon as he can. But right now, it's impossible, isn't it? So it is what it is.
Look, I mean, Twitch, it's been a bit up and down. Like, obviously, when COVID happened, everything kind of went crazy because people had nothing to do. So they were either just watching more on Twitch or they started streaming themselves. And, you know, as a streamer, that kind of, like, when you start streaming more, you kind of become more of a viewer to other people too, if you're trying to grow your own brand or if you're trying to, you know, just become involved in a community.
Yeah.
And I think people have stopped streaming as they've started going back to work. People have stopped going on Twitch as much.
Yeah.
Even though obviously Australia in particular has had its ups and downs with lockdowns, as we know at the moment. But
number 5, is it for you?
yeah, number 5. But you know, like, Twitch is still popping off. Like, if you break through the right area, you can definitely keep growing. And I think as a platform, and gaming in general and streaming in general is always just going to keep growing, you know, as long as there's a reason for it to grow. Like, we need another game like Warzone probably in the next year or so, but I don't think, like, you know, unless something really bad happens with Warzone, I don't see it really dying anytime soon.
Yeah. I think like I was saying with Wizard, I think it's just frustrating that they don't cater to the people who play the game. Really. Like, I mean, but that's the thing that
it's all money for them. It's money.
Yeah, it's when we understand that because we can see it from a business perspective as well. Yeah, but at the same time, like, I'd like for it to you know,
well, at the same
change
time,
a little.
I mean, like, it can't only be us that knows that, like, or sees that if they got rid of the hackers or they, you know, got a better anti-cheat, that it would benefit them more than anything, because more people would play, more people would be invested to, like, spend money on the game. Like, you know, if I was playing right now, I didn't come across like one single hacker ever, I'd be like probably playing more, you know. I'd be playing more. Who knows? I'd probably be spending more money on the game because I'd be, like, enjoying it more.
It makes me not want to, like, when they bring all these packs and these guns and camos and all this shit, I don't spend the money on any of it because I don't want to give them a cent because of all the hackers, because I don't appreciate it as much as most.
I spent a lot of money, or not a lot, but, like, I spent enough money, like, early days on Warzone when there wasn't really, you know, hackers, when there wasn't really, like, that many bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was simple, but it was good.
And by this point, it's like we've been through so much crap, not just with cheaters, but bugs, stupid metas. Like,
I agree.
Just things like that. That it's like, you get on there now, and it's like, why should I spend any more money on this game when they're not figuring out, like,
I 100%
hackers?
Could not agree with you more.
And they're not, you know, you look at someone like Epic with Fortnite, and you know, they weren't like. They were a decent sized company before that, but they weren't the company they were until Fortnite, like, really blew up. They couldn't put on the events that they could put on.
They had plenty of good games, but nothing like the craze that was
in terms of the money. And, like, they had, like, they get hackers and stuff, but, like, they handle it so much better than what, you know, like, than Activision has. And not only that, like, look how much they did on their game for free. Like, Look how many in-game like events and stuff they did that were really cool. Like even if you're not a Fortnite fan, like you have to admit
You tune in
some
to
of the
watch
events
them.
they've done in the game have been sick. Like you
Yeah.
know, like the Marshmallow one, the Travis Scott one, like all that stuff, like all these collaborations they've done.
And then we all
like,
get up for the Warzone events at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, and they're just like an absolute fucking clusterfuck.
Precisely, we get on there and like you can't even connect, or you get in and you crash every time you get into the game.
Oh,
and
dude.
it's like, how is a company this
don't
big
understand.
and that were that much bigger than like Epic were before Warzone happened or before Fortnite happened and whatever? You know, it's like it's ridiculous how they can't fix that stuff and how they can't test this stuff to put it out. Like,
well, the craziest part about Activision is the way they took off in the first place was through sports games. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You remember that?
And I mean these guys have no excuse. Like, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, they've been making Call of Duties for like what? I mean,
since
probably
Modern
close
Warfare
to 20
2
years. Like, Jesus.
It's got to be 20 years because I remember playing Modern Warfare 2 like 2000.
Well, I think we're up to number. Hold on, I've literally got
8 maybe.
I've literally got every single Call of Duty except for Cold War.
There's about 10, 12 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. There's one over there. 17.
Yeah, and we still can't get it right.
It'll be the 18th Call of Duty this year.
Oh my god.
So yeah, like the fact that they've made that many and they've made so much money from every single one of those games, especially anything past like, well, from Modern Warfare onwards, like the original Modern Warfare onwards.
I agree.
You know, they've made so much money and yet like, and you know, they could say, oh, Warzone's free, but how many people have spent money on Modern Warfare before Warzone came out and then on all the packs in Warzone? You know, it's like what they did with Fortnite. Yeah, the game's free, but people spent so much money on packs. They spent 4, 5, 6, 7 times the amount of what like a full price game would have been. So it's a good marketing strategy, but I don't know how they haven't like sorted out their hacker problem with when they're that rich of a company, you know.
100%. I just gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yep. All goody.
Thank you, Liz, for the biddies as well. Michaela's question to you was, are you also horny? I don't know whether that relates. And Potatoes is also here, and I wanted to say hello to you as well. So I'll be right back.
Potato Nux. Hello, Potato Nux. And no, I can't say I am, to be honest. What's up, chat? We're taking over. I'm just kidding. Yeah, sorry, Map. Sorry. But yeah, if you guys want to know more about the music, actually, I'll talk about that while he's going to the toilet. Basically, the release I've got coming out is coming out on a label called Play Me Records. Backstory on that, they've been a record label that I've been following, honestly, ever since I like got into like that kind of music. And when I won the competition, so they held a remix competition a few years back and ended up actually winning. So not only that, but it was also on the song that the label manager herself, she like produces and she started the label. And it was actually one of her songs that was up for the remix competition. So I literally won on like the label boss's song. And yeah, I ended up getting that released on the label. And then from that, they wanted to hear more music, so I ended up like submitting an EP to them, which is the one that's on there now. So like Emerge, Void, Rupture, those songs. That was like the EP that went on there, and then this is the second one I got coming in. So that's the one coming out tomorrow. Exciting.
I like it, dude. I like it.
I was just giving a bit of backstory to
no, I can hear you.
The label and the release on.
How
so
good.
This is the second EP coming out on that label.
Well, make sure
exciting.
Tomorrow or whenever you want, please post it in the Discord, so everyone can see
I'll
it.
probably do like a day stream tomorrow, and
everyone will come check you out.
Sort of like live reveal thing or something. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what the rules are, obviously, because it is my music, but it's also on a label, so I don't know.
I get you. Mr. Fresh, thank you for coming in. Hello to you as well. Bob, giving the big hype. I like it. Fawaz is always keen for some blitty. And Bad, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. He was lurking while muted with the mic. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So another question that I have for you from one of our viewers, same question I posed to Wizard as well. I'm going to give it to you. What has been your favorite streaming moment and why?
Ooh. That's a tough one. Shit.
Same thing he said.
Yeah.
It is a tough one.
Crap. It's hard to even think back. Like, there's been that many streams. It's hard to actually think back at like.
Oh, if you look at the hours you've streamed, like it's like hundreds and hundreds. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Shit. I mean, there's been a couple like crazy like hype train streams. You know, like they're. It's hard to put those like lower on the list because they're all just so like whenever that happens, it just you get off and you feel so like happy, right? It's, you know, Twitch isn't all about money, but it's just it's that support, you know, that like inflowing support that you realize that you're getting.
Just for doing what you're doing is kind of nice to know that people actually want to give that love.
But honestly, like one of my favorite streaming moments was the other night when I raided at the end of my stream. I had 50 people. I don't think I've ever raided with like more than 50 people.
I was there, I remember.
Yeah. and that raid ended up triggering the hype train in what was his name? JT, I think it was. JT's chat. After that, I raided with like 50, 51 or something like that. And then like his community wanted to just like go crazy and just double that hype, and like ended up doing like a 1000% level 5 hype train or something.
That's crazy.
And like that's definitely up on my list because like he was already stoked with the raid, you know. He said like that's the biggest raid he's ever gotten and that's the biggest raid I've ever given. But you know, like that was a pretty awesome moment just seeing his like his channel like blow up.
That's a cool feeling.
Just there, like it was cool. It was cool,
dude. That's why I run the Saturday night community night. Like that's why, because like, I remember.
Oh, there he is.
JT, there he is. Yeah. He's also a subscriber. So like,
let's go.
It's funny.
Let's go.
It's funny that like. When we have this many, or if we have a fair few viewers in our channel, and then we can actually take all that love and give it to someone else, that's an even better feeling. That puts a smile on my face and makes me feel even better than me having them here. Like the fact that I can share it with other people.
I started getting like 2 views, 3 views because
I've been doing that as well, 100%.
To me, like even it might not seem like much, but even 2 views, 3 views to someone who's got 1, you know, that's quadrupled their views. Like it's and not just that, you know, like even if you're just going in there and simply dropping a follow and lurking for a bit and say they're not affiliated or, you know, like they're just trying to grow, it's anything helps at that stage. And
I agree.
Like even now, I think, you know, there's maybe been like 1 stream in the last like probably 6 months where I haven't raided, and it was because like maybe it just wasn't my night and I just wanted to get off, like, you know.
Dude, I've never had a stream I didn't raid, even if it was like 2 people.
Yeah, but even still, like most of the time when I'm tilted, I'll still raid. Like, you know, otherwise, you know, there might have been a couple nights where I disconnected or something, but
and you've been doing multiple streams a day too,
raid.
Like.
Yeah.
You started doing like 2 streams a day. Do you find that it's better or worse? How are you feeling about it?
For me, I don't mind as long as it's not like 2 COD streams a day. Like I don't think I could really do that because by the time I get to the second one, I'm just, or like even the first one, because I've probably done one the night before, and then you know, like the first stream of the day kind of has to be something chill. So
well, like you're not you know, allergic to other games. You can still play other things.
No.
You know, it's like
some other things. Even the music, you know, like I've been trying to do a bit more of that on stream just because it's something different. And like you said, like a lot of people don't even know that I do it, so it's a good opportunity to I guess show people. Yeah,
a lot of the people from my community had a good feedback about that too. So like a lot of the people in my community came over to yours to watch you do the music stuff, and a lot of them really enjoyed it. So it's
something different, you know.
Because a lot of people I find, especially in this community that we have here, don't always love FPS. Like they're not always big fans of FPS. They don't always want to watch that. So a lot of them. So I have a crowd of people that watch FPS. I have a crowd of people who want to watch Minecraft. I have a crowd of people who want to just come in for the community night and turn someone the fuck up. Like I have a crowd of people that'll just literally sit here and chat with me and have a drink. Like
Yeah.
I have such a diverse community that I want to do everything, but at the same time, I also don't want anyone to feel left out. So it's like becoming one of those things where I'm just kind of like, I don't really know what the niche is for this community yet, but I think this podcast is going to help. Is going to help the community sort of bring themselves together. So that's why I have people like you, like Wizard, come on and do this, because you're a VIP in this channel for a reason. Like, I didn't give you a VIP because just randomly. Like, I gave you one because you know, you show this. Not only do you show support, I love playing with you, and I also really enjoy like talking with you all the time, and like, I feel like we've become really good friends. So the fact that I gave you a VIP in the channel is because I really appreciate your support. Because I mean, look, when I was on 3 viewers, you were rating me. You know, when I was on 2 viewers, you were rating me. When I was on 5 viewers, you were rating me. And some days you would rate me twice in 2 days. Like, honestly, it's just like, I'm like, don't you? I remember one time you rated me, I think it was 3 days in a row. And I said to you on the 3rd raid, and I was like, don't you have anyone else like on Twitch that you can raid? Like, honestly, because like I feel selfish from you doing that 3 days in a row. And like and that's when I gifted you the VIP, because I was like, you only did it because of the 3 streams that I did. All of them like had different sort of meanings to them, I guess. And you rated me 3 separate times in 3 separate days, and I was just kind of like, this is someone who supports this stream, and I need to make sure that everyone knows that. So that's why I gave you the VIP. And to Michaela's dismay, you became the 2nd VIP in the channel. But now we have 6. So you know what I mean? Like, just have to deal with it. But I appreciated the support, and you were supporting me, exactly, when I had no one watching. So that's why people should watch you. That's why people should learn from that. And also that's why you should have more viewers, because you show the support to everyone else, and I feel like you're not getting enough of it back. And I'm doing this podcast because now I have the power of community in order to, push forward other people's communities that should be noticed.
No, it's good. I mean, and it's cool to even find out like the backstory and the why to that people stream or play the games that they do, play Warzone, play, some people do other creative things, and
everybody's an individual.
It's interesting to find out like where that came from. Because some people just have the same reason. They just want to get on Twitch, they want to stream, they want to, they're good at the game, whatever. But other people, like they started for different reasons. And for me personally, I was always into sort of like content creation and stuff before Twitch came around. I used to do the old, the old squeaker YouTube videos when I was like 12. But it's always been interesting for me. And I think there was only probably like a year or a year and a half total since I started like originally making like whatever videos I was making, where I kind of didn't really do anything. I've always been making stuff in terms of gaming, whether it's just small videos every now and then, and it wasn't just the trying to show off game skill side of things. I liked the creative side of it, editing, making thumbnails, like trying to get better at that kind of stuff too. And I never really had the intention of like, I'm going to get famous by uploading YouTube videos or anything like that, It's just a creative aspect of it for me. And that's why I got into it all. And I know like a lot of other people are the same. You look at some people's streams and they got some really cool things that other people don't have. And it's like, you can tell they're not doing it just to get on a game and like just sit there while they hope that people flow in and watch. Like, it's
exactly,
some people are really, really like going above and beyond and trying to create some really like cool things for people to watch or get people involved, like with what you're doing. It's cool. And that's when you can set people apart too, like.
Well, I like to gravitate towards people who I feel have the same sort of outlook on it, because I mean, like someone like you've seen Beach Friday Friday. He's not good at Warzone. He knows that. Like, he's not a good player at all. But he just enjoys the game because he gets to play it with his friends. And you can tell that he enjoys it because he just laughs the entire time, right? And he stays humble, and all he ever does when he's streaming, he still gets 20 to 30 people watching him because of the amount of love he gives back to the people watching him. So he has, unlike maybe you or me when it comes to gaming, when it comes to Warzone, he, instead of playing the game, he just plays with the chat and just plays the game on the side. Like it's a different thing. Like because the people come there to talk to him, they don't come there to watch him play. You know what I mean? And like that's one thing. But then the other side of things is like I always say to people in the community and stuff: stream what makes you happy. Because then if people see that you're happy and you're streaming and you're happy, they'll watch you no matter what you're playing. So
that's exactly the reason that I've taken breaks every now and then from Warzone, like whether it's a week from, like I took a week off streaming it the other week because like for the previous week before that, I just almost every stream would end up in me just getting off like more annoyed than I should be at like getting off a stream, like I should be happy, I should be enjoying it.
This is the other reason.
That's not just me, like that's also people watching aren't going to want to watch that, like
100%.
So now if I have enough of it, I just take a break. Like even if I'm still streaming, I'll just stop for 5 minutes, just chat, just chill down a bit because
it's a very competitive game, dude. That's what brings it out.
I've got a slightly different outlook on it now too. Like I look at Warzone, I look at myself as a Warzone streamer for the most part, and like I know I'm not the best player in the world. I know I'm not the best player in the country. I'm probably not even the best player in the state. But like I go in and I go for clips, or like you see me when I hit a clip, when I hit something, I go crazy, and that's because like it's exciting.
Your energy is insane. That's why I love it. Yeah.
When I hit that, I'm excited, and I want other people to be excited too. Like I know it might not even always be the craziest thing, but it's like, I don't want to be sitting there like, say I drop 20 kills a game and I'm just sitting there and there's no excitement in it, and like.
You feel like it's pointless, isn't it? Like
I'm not striving for more. I mean, it's different, I'm not Ash. Like a 20 bomb's like normal for Ash, but then he'll strive for a 40 bomb, a 50 bomb, and when he hits that, he'll go crazy. That's the difference. Whereas like for me, like a 20 bomb's crazy, or not even just that.
It's like that serotonin level you need to get to in order to be like crazy.
And it's not like it's not even necessarily about like just me dropping a 20 bomb. It's about me like just hitting stupid clips, and that's why I rush in like an idiot. Because when I come out of that on top, sometimes it makes for some pretty good content. So like
100%. Well, look, I mean, speaking of good content, Mornix is just saying that they were in the chat when you were playing in a Charizard onesie. So I mean, that's why I had to make you pull it out for everyone, bro.
The funny thing is about the onesie actually. And like, I don't want this to encourage people to put it on more because it's pretty warm in my room as it is. So, but I reckon like at least 80% of the time that I've worn that onesie, I've actually popped off in the game. Like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but like
it's like a different mindset or something.
Weird. Yeah,
that's so weird. Good.
I hit one of my like best games ever when I was wearing that, I think.
Well, dude, I've seen you hit some pretty crazy things, like And I love the way you play though. Like it's just like you're always like, I don't know what it is, but like just the movement is you're always moving, bro. Always moving, no matter what. I've never seen you stand still in a game. Like how people like stand still and hide or wait or whatever.
Well,
I've never seen you do that.
That's something I've definitely like forced myself to do, especially if I'm in like a gunfight and I'm in like a 1v3 or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
you just got to keep moving.
I will always like in my head, I'm like, all right, I get one down, I might need to play it up, or I'm like, just run, just go through windows. And recently, the past couple of days in particular, I've noticed in the back of my like head when I've been playing, I'm like, that was a cool play. Like I've jumped out a window, I've gone around, he didn't know I was there, and it's worked. And that's something I've been like trying to practice, as well as just warming up on bots and whatnot. Which
the amount of times we've been playing, right? And like whenever we play together, we play with Holty and a couple of the boys. Your comms are so funny. Like none of us will be talking, right? Everyone will just whenever we play with the same group, say it's you, me, Holty, and say Dadbot, or you, me, Holty, and whoever it might be, maybe it's Hot Chocky or something like that. We all play and we all just go and do our own thing in different directions, right? And when we all die, we're just like, oh, bugger. But then if we're all doing our own thing, we're dropping kills and doing all one and the other. Your comms are always the funniest. It's like, oh my God, And then it's, oh my God. And then at the end of it, it's like, I shouldn't have won that. And then it's like,
legit,
oh my God,
legit.
you guys, I just shit on these kids. And like, and I just laugh every time because I'm like, I know, I can picture it in my brain what you've just done. And I'm just like, you're the funniest man alive.
It's funny because I'll rarely, I'll be in like the gunfight and I won't say a word until it's like the last dude because I'm just like full concentration mode, but then I realize the scale of what I've just done to that squad, and then I'm like, oh, no way. And then I'll get the last dude and it'll be like, fuck.
And then you just press that clip button. You just like,
legit clip. Legit.
Cobber's in the chat. Yeah. How are you, Cobber? I hope you're good, bro. I hope you're good. Yeah, Kalu's got a new saying in the chat now. It's his new command. It's suck my fist, cunt. Because were you there for that the other night? He
I was, I think, yeah.
Yeah. He killed someone and I think what happened is he ran out of ammo and he just punched them to death. And then at the end of it he just said, suck my fist, cunt. And everyone in the chat were just pissing themselves laughing. So now that's his new command. Like it's so good.
That's great. That's great.
All right, well, a couple of other things we might touch on just like while we're on the subject of competitive gameplay and stuff.
Sure.
Dude, like what other games in the past have you played other than Warzone that you were as competitive in, or if not more? Like what were the games that you played with originally? Like you've been on Twitch for a long time, bro. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty's always been the main one in terms of competitiveness, whether that's, like past Call of Duties, Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare before Warzone, I actually dabbled in competitive comp a little bit. So here and there, I played a few games. I played in like the APAC challenges, which is what you have to win to get through to like the actual, next stage or whatever. So you got your Chiefs, your Mind Freak, your Renegades, and all that in that. I actually played for it was a bit of fun, but it was also competitive. I think we played against like the third seed in the country or something, which was pretty frightening. But
yeah,
I have actually dabbled in like competitive COD a little bit, but before that, it was all just me, just being sweaty and like honestly, for the most part, I didn't really play with other people to play competitively. I mostly just played solos, or I'd be talking to friends or whatever. And I think the competitive side with Call of Duty and where I really started to try and turn it up a bit was probably with Call of Duty Ghosts once, because that was like when PS4 came out, and so I got on the PS4, started playing on there, and then I made a lot of the friends that I actually know now. I think you know Reggie. Reggie, you might have seen
Reggie
him.
XP.
Yeah, Reggie. Funny story with that actually. I met him because of a few other guys who I met literally in just a random lobby, multiplayer lobby. Like I just met him in a lobby on Call of Duty Ghosts, like multiplayer. I saw these three guys had the same clan tag. I was just solo queuing. I destroyed them. And I was just like, and I was just like, yo, can I join? Just out of nowhere. I was just like, oh, these guys seem alright. So I joined their PSN chat party thing, joined their game, started playing games with them, and I became really good mates with them. Turned out they all knew each other in real life. Like they're all good mates. They all live in the same town. So I started playing with them, and they had like a clan. So we were doing like clan wars on Call of Duty Ghosts, which was pretty competitive. So I guess that's like one area where my competitive side started to kick in, and that's kind of where like that came from. I mean, I've always tried to be good at COD. Like it's always been that game. I was competitive even when I was just playing LAN against like my brother when I was younger. Like, it was just,
just that drive inside.
Yeah,
you gotta get it done.
I met those guys, and then they actually knew Reggie and a couple other guys that I ended up playing with later on. And I actually met them when I started playing Siege. So Rainbow Six. That's how I met Reggie, and then like I started playing, other games with Reggie, and now I'm like really good mates with him. But I mean, it's the competitive side of it. I think in terms of games, it's always been Call of Duty for me that's like really brought it out. But there have been other games. Destiny again was one of them. Destiny 1. I
Yeah.
like to be a bit competitive. I think, and honestly, any game, any multiplayer game that I play that has that, like aspect where you can beat someone else, like I've always
You
tried to
have to be
beat
the
someone
best.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's that perfectionist again coming out.
and
Of
one of my
you.
high school mates, he used to say he hated me because like he'd be playing a game and he'd want me to play it, and I'd come play it, and within like a day or two I'd already be like as good or if not better than him, and he used to say he'd hate it because like
Yeah.
because he's like, why are you just good at everything? And I'm like, I'm not the best at everything, but I'm good at it.
Yeah. I was the
um
same when I was younger with video games. Like I always like,
yeah.
anytime it was a competitive game, I'd get really, really mad if I wasn't better than the person I was playing, and like I would put the hours in, and then like my parents weren't always stoked with that because I'd just be like
Yeah, of
sitting in front of a
course.
TV
Yeah.
for hours and hours and hours, and they'd just be like, "Can you just go outside?" And I'd be like, "I don't want to. I want to get good at Gran Turismo,
Yeah.
like or whatever it
I
might
think
be."
the other
like,
thing for me is I've always had like pretty good hand-eye coordination too. So like, I used to, even when I was younger, I played tennis for a while. I was alright at that, and then I stopped that. And like, I've always been pretty good with hand-eye coordination. I started playing the drums, and obviously that helped even more because like you
100%,
need
yeah.
good hand-eye coordination for that. So 6 years of that probably helped too. But
Yeah, I get that. Look, I play bass guitar, so I mean,
yeah.
hand-eye
So
coordination
that like
comes hand in hand. Like,
it's actually
cool.
crazy, and people don't think about it. But people don't think about how much like these things can connect, and
Yeah,
like someone with a creative mind won't necessarily probably never actually will only be creative in one area, like
I agree.
like for me, I just have that creative mind. Like I make music, I get ideas, do designs, I get ideas, like
Yeah,
with the stream I get ideas. It's just what I do. Like I'm creative. But like some people think of creativity and they think sort of like, oh, art, that's just what they think. And it's like, if you can't paint, then you can't be creative. But like
yeah.
there's
Well,
so
like
many ways to be
I
creative.
can't draw for shit. Like I'm not a
I'm not the
artist. I'm
best.
not an artist. Like, but for me, like music, between playing an instrument and I to be honest, playing competitive poker has actually helped me with a lot of things when it comes to like reading people, reading
Well, yeah, there's the
situations.
technical mind to it too.
Like,
There's
like
that
just
too, yeah.
just like counting the numbers you need, like different things that go along in your head when you're playing a game like that. And then you apply that to anything else in it, it makes sense. So like I played like a lot of competitive like amateur poker, right? So we did like APL circuit. We used to play like Wild Turkey circuit, Sydney champs, all that kind of stuff, right? This is big money, dude. Like big money involved,
Yeah,
real good
yeah.
games. Like we made a lot of money playing poker, but obviously we can't do that right now because of COVID. But
Yeah.
another thing that's ruined. But anyway, the point is that playing that for so many years has kind of helped me not only be social, and not only be competitive, but also develop like things like when it comes to technical things like trying to read people in general. That's actually helped me in so many aspects of life, such as business and stuff. Like whereas like also Twitch business, whatever it might be, kind of reading people is
Yeah.
I've never used to have that skill. I used to be like, when I was a kid, I was an introverted kid. Like I used to sit in a library, read a book, play a Game Boy. You know what I mean? I don't, and I never spoke to anyone. Like I might chat to people randomly, in, like in the playground or whatever. But when I was in high school and when I was in primary school, I spent my entire schooling life inside another book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was my happy place. Like I would be reading a book, or I'd be playing a video game, or I'd be researching something on the internet, and that was how I was, and that's what I love to do. I wasn't the person that went down and kicked the football and sat at the lunch table with all the blokes having a chat about the chick across the other side of the room. That wasn't my thing when I was in high school.
I was the same, yeah.
And it all stems from that. Like, all the stuff we've done from then has stemmed from that because of the way we are. And like now, sociability for me is easy. Whereas before, I was like, if you asked me to do, say in high school, you know how in English you have to get up and do a speech on something. That was probably the most terrifying moment of my life.
I still hate it. Like I could do it a lot easier than what I used to be able to, but I still it's just like, I think it's just a standing up and talking.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sitting down, it's like a different equation, you know. Like it's weird.
I would shake
So
so
it's all a mental
uncontrollably.
thing, honestly.
I'd have cue cards, right? I'd shake so uncontrollably I'd drop my cue cards because I was terrified. Like
I think it was like year 11 or year 12. I had to do one. It was like literally cold outside, and like I was in the room. I got up to do my thing. It was literally like 2 minutes or something. By the end, I was like
you're a mess.
this close to just blacking out. Like I almost fainted. I had to sit back down, and like everything started coming back.
Yeah.
That's how nervous I was with it.
But that's how it is. Like and in real life, that is how you feel sometimes. But you know what?
Yeah.
With everything that I've done in life, say whether it be poker, whether it be like competitive sports, whether it be video games, or whether it be business and Twitch, it's helped me grow as a person. But not only that, bring more confidence into myself. So like for me now, like I've always been a massive fan of politics, like a massive advocate for like just learning about it. I find it the most interesting. Like I'll read constitutions, I'll read amendments, I'll read laws. That's my kind of thing. I think it's really interesting, and keeping up on that kind of stuff is very interesting to me. And for me, my dream job would be to run for government. Like just out of the pure interest of what it would entail. Like I don't really know what it would go on with it, and I don't know how it works or anything. But I understand enough to know that it could be possible. But I was so petrified of public speaking before that I couldn't have done that. But I think now I could definitely do that. So it's kind of like one of those things where you just kind of like, you think about that a lot, and you think about the potential and the opportunities you can create yourself just by being confident.
I'm quite similar in that way that like I'm very interest driven, you know, like if I'm interested in something, I will pursue it. Like, you know, like Twitch, for example, right? Like if I put my mind to anything, like I know it's so generic, like if I put my mind to it, I'll do it. But like it's anything that I genuinely want to like grow with, or like, you know, get bigger with, like I will not stop until I've either put everything I can into it, or, you know, I make it. But it's like music, you know, music's always been more of a hobby, but also like something that I do take seriously, you know, like I've never like at one point in the back of my head thought I'm going to get famous making music, and that was never like my intention at all. And like, you know, I probably won't, but the thing is like that's the reason I'm still going, because if I did have that intention, I would have given up by now. Like I've been doing it for years. The reason I'm doing it is because it's my creative outlet. I just find it interesting, and I think other people find it interesting, and it's also showing people that, you know, like this is what goes in my head, like this is what I can create.
Yeah, no, I agree with that sentiment as well. Michaela has another.
Like,
Michaela has another question. Which
I'll always put my mind to it.
There you go. How many instruments do you play? Your drums and
technically none, but I mean, like I have played.
It's not how many do you play well.
Yeah,
it's how many do you like? Do you play?
All of them in that case. No, like but I mean, yeah, just drums really. I mean, I've messed around. Like I can do very, very minimal stuff on piano, but that's again another thing that I've like. Actually, something I forgot to even mention with music. Really, it's all self-taught. You know, like even the software itself, like all the plugins that I use. Just learning music theory, even though I still don't know it that well, because for me, I'm just a musical ear. I don't have to look at the mathematical side of music. Like there is a physics side to music, because obviously it's, you know, sine waves and all that stuff. There is knowledge in that does help you, especially if you're trying to be if you're trying to be like a mastering engineer, then you need to know that stuff. But for me, I've always been self-taught, and it's the same with instruments except for drums, because I did have lessons when I did it originally. But you know, for me, like I could get taught the very, very basics of those kind of things and then just take it from there. But with piano, I've never, well, I say piano, like keyboard. I've never actually been taught a single thing about it. I just play stuff, and then I'm like, it's not even like I know I've got to play an F. It's like I know I've got to play this key here because it's at that point I know what that key is going to sound like. and I know where it's got to go. It's more like my mind now knows kind of what the note is, but without actually knowing what the note is, if you know what I mean.
I can get that because like me, when it comes to playing bass, I can't read music. Okay, so when it comes to playing bass, I read tablature because I can't read music. So I basically just run tablature, and I can usually follow it while I play, because I can read it as I play.
I can read music, but I can't read note music. Like
No,
I can read.
that's the thing. Like,
I can read sheet music for drums because I know what like each. Well, probably not now because it's been a long time. But like, I knew what each like line meant in that. But if that came to like an instrument like guitar or keyboard or something where
it's totally different. Yeah,
those lines represent notes. I probably wouldn't have a clue because I never really got taught that. And that's again, that's a human creation that we've made to make it easier to read music. That's got nothing to do with like having a musical ear. That's just something you have to learn to read music, not write music or do stuff like that, or actually play the music. When you play the music and you're playing something new, you're like that's in your head, right? Like that's all in your head. And technically you wouldn't even need like, I mean, you'd probably want to write it down so you remember it. But like technically you don't need that to play it if you've got the idea in your head, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Look, if you got enough skill in your ear that you can hear the music and you can play it off from your ear, like work it out, that is a skill in itself, right? Yeah. So like I find that I can do that to an extent. Like but the problem is with songs when it comes to bass guitar, it's very hard to hear it all the time.
Yeah, it's not always it's harder to differentiate the
it's
keys.
not always a solo. It's not always the top of the music band. It's always at the bottom. So it's hard to hear it, but you know what? Generally speaking, I can get the most of it. Maybe I'll be in like the wrong key or whatever, but it'll be the right idea. Do you know what I mean?
It's like bass is kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like the foundation of music, you know, like you get your bass. It's like a sub bass in like dubstep music or electronic music. The sub bass is the foundation.
It's a bass line.
It's like that is your bass line. Yeah, exactly. It's the bass line of the song. Like it's literally, if you don't get that right, you fuck up the rest of the song because
it doesn't make sense.
Like it won't sound right. Yeah.
This is why you always, whenever you hear a song that has been written by a guitar player, say like a lead guitar player, you always know because it's a mess, right? So it's
because anyone can go crazy with a lead, but you don't know that it's going to fit properly with like a actual bass line
with an underline. So like it's kind of like
your bass line's going mental and it's not following the same like progression each time. It's just kind of going crazy.
It's like making the icing for a cake before you make the cake.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to do so.
Exactly.
Because you can't put it on anything. Like 100%.
And that's why, I think that's one skill that I would consider myself good at when it comes to producing music. Even if I'm writing like the chords, say just like the synth chords, before I write the bass notes, I know what bass note has to go with it because I'm already thinking ahead in that way. And it's just a musical ear. Like I can do the chord without the root note. So like I could say like, say a 3-note chord, I could do the 2 notes above, but know what the bass note is in my head. Like I can hear it. I can literally hear it. Like it's playing in my head. And like I will know, I can make those chords and know it before I actually make the bass. Obviously it helps doing your bass notes first. Normally when I'm making music, I will sort of have this idea in my head and I'll do the sub bass or like just the root note like first, and then just build on it because it's a lot easier that way. But it's just one of those things. So it's like where the musical ear side comes in. Like I can just kind of hear what I want already. Sometimes it doesn't always come out like as you think it's gonna sound, but
you try.
It's just one of those things. You've got to try it. That's the thing, and that's how you come up with creative stuff. If you just follow the same rules as everyone else, then
it's the same as what Warnick's
gonna make the same shit.
It's the same what Warnick's is saying here. It's like you mostly just get it right the way you hear it and you improvise, but at the same time, if you just love playing the instrument you're playing, it doesn't really matter, does it? Like you just want to play and just follow what you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, we've done an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. It's been great.
You know what I love about long form conversation when it comes to podcasts is because you can do an hour and a half, you can do 2 hours, you can do 3 hours. It doesn't really matter, but as long as you're enjoying the conversation.
And I mean, it doesn't even feel like it's been an hour and a half.
This is why I said to you guys, originally, and I said 45 minutes, right? Because 45 minutes doesn't seem that long. But as soon as we started talking, I knew that this has got to be an hour and a half.
For a long time.
So like I think look, thanks for being a part of the first ever Zilla Patch podcast. I appreciate it, dude.
Great.
I'm gonna do this every single Thursday. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 2 guests to start with and see if we grow from there. 2 guests, so we're gonna do an hour and a half per guest. It seems about right, to be honest. And we're just gonna have free flowing conversation and enjoy the chat. So. Definitely. You know what, dude? I appreciate you coming on. Guys, if you're not checking out Obliterazor, you're doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you guys go and check out his EP tomorrow. Make sure if you're not following him on Spotify, give it a follow so that you can get that EP launch. I'll definitely be tuning into it.
All over my socials too, probably even on my gaming ones, just so that people...
Your socials are in the Discord. So if anyone who's not in the Discord, please jump in the Discord. Make sure you get amongst that. Make sure you post all your socials as well. And also make sure you become part of this community, because I tell you what, there's people like this in this community, talented beyond words. And honestly, I fucking love all of you. And thank you so much for sticking around. So Blitty, we'll leave you there, brother. But I tell you what,
yes, sir.
We'll probably be gaming later anyway. So no sweat there.
I was going to say, actually, yeah. What are you doing with that? Are you playing? Well,
I'm gonna finish up streaming, but I'll be playing later. So if you can, yeah, for sure.
I might chuck up a cheeky one anyway. So
all right,
if you want to play, all right, easy.
All right, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you.
No worries, man.
Thanks for being here.
Good fun, and thanks for having me on too. It was really good.
Nah, my pleasure. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
See you, mate. Bye. Fuck, what a beast. What a guy.